Hello to you all, friends of the dark bee. I'm going to tell you what has been going on in Switzerland during the last years. Our association, mellifera.ch, exists since 1993. Now we are about 500 members. Until 2019, Dr. Padrot Fried was president, and since then it is me. Vice presidents are Dr. Hans William Jäckli and Dr. Gabriele Soland. The breeding chief is Adrian Schütz, secretary Brigitte Hilfiger. The regionally active association SLB works alongside mellifera.ch with Hans William Jäckli as president. Content of this presentation is the items are protection, breeding, education, research, and outlook. Protection. Our dark bee enjoys legal protection in two protected areas. One is the entire canton of Glarus with over 1,000 bee colonies, and the Melchtal with around 50 bee colonies. A program supported by the administration of Switzerland helps to maintain a breed-typical population in the protected areas. This includes DNA analysis, reproduction of breed-typical queens, and replacement of hybrids with queens of the dark bee. Care is taken to preserve a broad range of genetics. Two other protected areas had to be abandoned. More about this in the report by Dr. Padrot Fried. Breeding. Tested queens have been entered in the bee breed herd book register since 2009. By 2020, there were 1,632 queens registered. In the graphic, you see the tested queens according to breeding lines 2009 until 2017. There are different amounts of queens according to the breeding lines. One has over 70, one lineage has over 70 queens, and other lines have only few queens. A DNA hybrid test is obligatory for all breeding mothers, including queens for drone colonies in the A-mating stations. In 2020, 5 A-mating stations for poor breeding and 19 B breeding stations for economic queens were in operation. In 2018, 19, and 21, the instrumental insemination vest has been added. Here a picture of our queen exchange. for the test appears. The queens are delivered by the breeders in series and then anonymously mixed and codes given. Each test beekeeper gets a sample of 12 queens. And he doesn't know from which breeder these queens are. Education. Every year, theoretical and practical courses are organized for managers of test appears. Here you see a practical course in a bee hut in April. A so-called poor breeder course for advanced breeders could be carried out 3 times under the competent guidance of Reiter Soland. At the annual breeder days, the interested breeders were informed about new developments and tips for practice are given. We have also a magazine which we edit once a year with interesting articles for friends of the duck bee and our breeders. Due to the pandemic, there was an interruption in 2020. Since then, we have been able to resume course activities as online seminars. Research. Since 2016, Dr. Mathieu Guichard made studies about the varroa tolerance characteristics and their heritability in Apis mellifera in Switzerland and France. You have heard his presentation or seen at October 23, and you can still download or watch his presentation on YouTube over the SIGAM connection. For this goal, so far, no clear results have been obtained, or a few results have been obtained. But as a side effect, so to speak, further scientific statements can be made. For the performance characteristics, gentleness, steadiness on comb, and hygiene, a substantial heredity and improvement could be determined in the dark bee of Switzerland during the last years. The full DNA sequencing of the bees involved in the experiments led to unexpected results. You see here a cloud with colored dots, and these dots mean colonies. This cluster represents the Carnica population. There are not so many Carnica, were not so many Carnica bees in these experiments. And you see this cluster is quite narrow. and it is only one cloud, one cluster. The Carnicas are from different countries: Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, USA, and France. And in brown, different brown colors, you see mellifera colonies, mainly from Switzerland and also from France. And here we can distinguish different populations. This dark brown is the population of our protection area Glarus, and there are also clearly distinguished populations from different mating stations. Then we have also some mixture. We have also hybridization. In some colonies, this happens also. The risk of inbreeding is low. Outlook. A sober analysis of the current situation tells us that there are only around 5,000 purebred mellifera bee colonies left in Switzerland, which is around 3% of the total bee population. Increased efforts are required to preserve the dark Swiss bee. In 2020, the federal government approved a project we had submitted with the title Optimization of the Long-Term Breeding Development of the Dark Honeybee. The aims of this project are genetic monitoring, what is left of our dark bee. Then ensure genetic diversity, avoid inbreeding, calculate the degree of hybridization. Secure mating means also establishment of instrumental insemination. Then we want cryopreservation and gene database. And we need also an optimization of the breeding value estimation. It has been shown that the bee breed database does not always meet our needs, and that the dark bee needs its own performance criteria and its own breeding value estimation. Protection through use is our slogan. Thanks to our breeders and members, the native dark bee is cared for and her valuable qualities are preserved. Thank you very much for your attention.